All right, let's get some reaction now by welcoming the ATM's Vuyolwethu Zungula. Vuyo, great having you with us today. Good afternoon. So the president is back from the WEF and his first act was to sign that expropriation bill into law. Your reaction, please, as the ATM.
Afternoon to you and the viewers. As a party, we believe that, this makes a mockery of the public participation process, where citizens joined the committees of parliament and the citizens were communicating a very clear message to say land expropriation without compensation. Now, if you read the statement issued by the president today, it's very clear that the expropriation can only happen after no agreement has been reached with the property owner, which means there's no land expropriation without compensation there. What you rather have, the regulations that the president has articulated in this statement, it is to say that if any government entity wants land, they need to negotiate with the property owner, they need to beg with the property owner. Only when there's no remedy or when there's no conclusion, only then do they go to expropriate land without compensation. So that is why, in our view, it makes a mockery of the public participation process, because government needs to do what the people want, not the other way around. You can't have a case whereby citizens go to a public participation process and say land expropriation without compensation, but the government or the president communicates something different.
Yes, and Vuyo, that's exactly what I wanted to say. I mean, we've seen ATM as well as a slew of other parties in Parliament have been part of these robust discussions pertaining to this matter. Let's talk about what you as ATM actually proposed in earnest to this particular matter.
Firstly, as a party, we believe that any discussion about land expropriation without compensation must start from the 6th of April when Jan van Riebeeck landed in South Africa, 1652, because now the cut-off date in terms of some of these legislation that have been brought about by the government only starts at 1913, whereas bulk of the land dispossession took place before then. And then the second thing is that land expropriation must be coupled with taking the land to its rightful owners, because we know that Amakhosi were the original owners of the land. So it cannot be that the government wanting to bring about righteousness and correct the evil past, the evil of the past, they will take the land and to the government instead of restoring land to its rightful owners. But in this case that the president has signed today, it is our belief that they could somewhat redeem themselves a bit, because we've got a challenge of student accommodation now, and we've got tons of hijacked buildings in the inner city, whereby if the government were to expropriate all of the lands in the inner city, transform those buildings into student accommodation, that way the students who are heavily in need of accommodation will not suffer for these coming years. So that is how the government could redeem themselves, even though we are not budging as the ATM when we are saying the cut-off date must be changed and also the land must be returned to its rightful owners, no one else.
Mm-hmm. So going forward, Vuyolwethu, what do you plan to do in light of this announcement by the president?
We already have a plan in Parliament to ensure that we put through the proposals that are speaking to the issues that we've highlighted. The land expropriation bill, in our view, that has been signed by the president does not address any of the injustices of the past. That is why we are going to continue advocating in Parliament and putting through proposals in terms of the bills and in terms of how the Constitution can be amended as well to reflect the will of the people as communicated via this public participation process. Also, and to ensure that we do not have a case whereby because the fear now is that the president is signing this simply because he wants to seem as if he's doing something. But practically, what will happen? Will it take another 10 years for a single plot of land to be expropriated? Because sometimes the government does make such actions. But when it comes to the action whereby there is real tangible changes in terms of the lives of the people, that is not seen. So that is why our role as a party in parliament will be to advance this cause using the parliamentary processes.
Absolutely, Vuyo, because it says here local, provincial and national authorities will then use this legislation to expropriate land in the public interest for varied reasons that seek, among others, to promote inclusivity as well as access to natural resources. Still very vague at this particular stage. And of course, we are going to give you more reaction from other various political parties. As you know, this was quite a contentious issue that has been debated over and over in Parliament.